What if the most advanced metalworking techniques in history weren't invented in modern labs, but thousands of years ago by ancient artisans? These craftsmen created objects so extraordinary that even today, with all our technology, we can't fully replicate them. From the legendary Damascus steel, whose blades could slice through armor like butter, to the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek device so precise it's been called the world's first computer, these artifacts defy our assumptions about the past. How did these ancient pioneers achieve such mastery, and why did their secrets vanish, leaving us to rediscover their brilliance centuries later? In this video, we'll uncover the lost knowledge of these metalworking geniuses, exploring how their innovations shaped history and what they can teach us about human ingenuity. Get ready to dive into a world where the past holds mysteries that still baffle the present. Long before towering skyscrapers and sprawling factories, humanity's relationship with metal began with a single, transformative discovery: fire. Around 5000 BC, in what we now call the Copper Age, early humans stumbled upon something extraordinary. They realized that certain rocks, when heated to extreme temperatures, could be shaped into tools, weapons, and ornaments. This revelation didn't just change the way they lived, it fundamentally altered the course of history. Imagine the awe of those first metalworkers, watching as raw, unyielding stone softened and flowed under the flames, becoming something entirely new. It was the dawn of metalworking, a turning point that would unlock the potential of human creativity and ambition. At first, copper was the star of this new era. It was relatively easy to extract and mold, making it the ideal material for early experimentation. But the real breakthrough came when these ancient artisans began to mix metals, creating alloys like bronze. This innovation didn't just produce stronger tools, it gave rise to entire civilizations. In Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, metalworkers crafted intricate jewelry and durable farming implements, enabling their society to thrive. In Egypt, copper and bronze became the backbone of monumental architecture, helping to build the pyramids that still stand as testaments to human ingenuity. What's truly remarkable is how these early metalworkers operated without the scientific knowledge we take for granted today. They relied on trial and error, observation, and a deep understanding of their materials. Their workshops were the laboratories of the ancient world, where sparks of inspiration met the heat of the forge. These pioneers didn't just shape metal, they shaped the future, laying the groundwork for every technological leap that followed. From the first copper tools to the towering achievements of later ages, the roots of modern innovation stretch back to these humble beginnings. And as we'll see, their legacy is far more than just metal. It's the story of how humanity learned to master the world around them. Among the many marvels of ancient metalworking, few have captured the imagination quite like Damascus steel. This legendary material, known for its unparalleled strength, razor-sharp edge, and mesmerizing wavy patterns, was the stuff of myths and legends. Warriors prized Damascus blades for their ability to cut through armor with ease, while collectors marveled at their beauty. But what made this steel so extraordinary? And why, despite centuries of study, do we still struggle to recreate it today? The story of Damascus steel begins with its raw material, wootz steel. Originating in ancient India, wootz was a high-quality steel made by heating iron ore with carbon-rich materials like charcoal in a sealed crucible. The result was a metal that was both strong and flexible, a rare combination for its time. But the real magic happened when this wootz steel made its way to the Middle East, where skilled blacksmiths transformed it into the legendary Damascus blades we know today. Using a combination of precise heating, folding, and hammering, they created a metal with a unique crystalline structure, giving it both its strength and its iconic wavy patterns. The exact process remains shrouded in mystery. Some historians believe the secret lay in the specific composition of the wootz steel itself, which contained trace amounts of rare elements like vanadium and tungsten. Others point to the unique forging techniques, which may have involved carefully controlled cooling rates or even the use of specific types of wood for the forge fires. Whatever the case, the result was a blade that could seemingly bend without breaking, retain its edge through countless battles, and dazzle the eye with its intricate patterns. So why did this remarkable technique disappear? Theories abound. One possibility is that the mines producing the key ingredients for wootz steel were exhausted, leaving later generations without the raw materials needed to replicate it. Another is that the knowledge was so closely guarded by a small group of master craftsmen that it was never widely shared, vanishing with them when their workshops fell silent. Whatever the reason, the loss of Damascus steel stands as one of history's great mysteries, a reminder of how fragile even the most advanced knowledge can be. Yet the fascination with Damascus steel endures. Modern metallurgists continue to study ancient blades, hoping to unlock their secrets, while blacksmiths experiment with new techniques to recreate their legendary qualities. It's a testament to the ingenuity of those ancient artisans, whose work still inspires awe and wonder centuries later. And as we strive to understand their methods, we're reminded that the past holds lessons that can still shape the future. Lessons about craftsmanship, innovation, and the enduring power of human creativity. While Damascus steel dazzles with its strength and beauty, another ancient marvel pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible in the ancient world. Imagine a device so sophisticated, so precise, that it could predict the movements of the sun, moon, and planets with astonishing accuracy, all crafted more than 2,000 years ago. This is the Antikythera mechanism, a breathtaking artifact often hailed as the world's first analog computer. Discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901, this intricate bronze device has captivated researchers and historians ever since. At first glance, the Antikythera mechanism looks like a corroded lump of metal, but beneath its weathered surface lies a masterpiece of ancient engineering. Composed of at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, some as small as a fingernail, the device was designed to model the cosmos. By turning a hand crank, the gears would move in precise patterns, predicting astronomical events like solar eclipses, the positions of planets, and even the timing of the Olympic Games. It was, in essence, a portable cosmos encased in bronze, a testament to the ingenuity of its creators. The craftsmanship behind the Antikythera mechanism is nothing short of extraordinary. Each gear was meticulously cast, shaped, and fitted by hand, requiring an unparalleled level of skill and precision. The metalworkers who created it didn't just understand bronze, they understood the movements of the heavens, translating celestial patterns into a mechanical marvel. This wasn't just metalworking, it was artistry fused with science, a synthesis of knowledge that still leaves modern experts in awe. Yet, for all its brilliance, the Antikythera mechanism remains shrouded in mystery. How did ancient Greeks, without the benefit of modern tools or technology, design and build such a complex device? Researchers have spent decades studying its fragments, using advanced imaging techniques to peer inside its corroded layers. What they've discovered is a level of sophistication that defies expectations. The gears are not only precise but also arranged in ways that suggest a deep understanding of mathematical principles and astronomical cycles. One of the most intriguing questions is why this technology seems to have been lost to history. The Antikythera mechanism stands alone, with no other devices of its kind surviving from the ancient world. Some scholars believe it was part of a larger tradition of mechanical craftsmanship, its secrets preserved in texts or oral traditions that have since vanished. Others speculate that its creation was the work of a single genius, a mind so far ahead of its time that its brilliance couldn't be replicated. What makes the Antikythera mechanism so remarkable isn't just its complexity, it's what it reveals about the ancient world. This device challenges our assumptions about the past, showing us that the people of antiquity were not just capable of great art and architecture, but also of advanced engineering and scientific thought. It's a reminder that innovation isn't confined to the modern era. It's a timeless expression of human curiosity and creativity. Today, the Antikythera mechanism continues to inspire. Researchers and engineers are still working to decode its secrets, using cutting-edge technology to reconstruct its inner workings. Each new discovery brings us closer to understanding how ancient metalworkers transformed bronze into a window on the universe. And as we uncover these ancient truths, we're reminded that the past is not a static record. It's a living, breathing source of inspiration, offering lessons that resonate across the ages. The journey of ancient metalworking is a story of human ingenuity, shaped by countless hours of experimentation and a deep connection to the materials at hand. At its heart were techniques so fundamental that they laid the groundwork for every metal object we use today. Take smelting, for example, a process that transformed raw ore into usable metal. Early metalworkers discovered that by heating rocks like malachite or azurite in a fire, they could extract copper, a soft but malleable metal. This discovery was revolutionary, marking the first step in humanity's mastery over metal. But smelting was just the beginning. As metalworkers grew more skilled, they began to experiment with forging, a technique that involved heating metal until it became pliable and then shaping it with hammers and anvils. Forging wasn't just about brute force, it required an intimate understanding of the material's behavior. Too much heat and the metal would become brittle. Too little and it wouldn't hold its shape. Ancient blacksmiths learned to read the color of the metal as it heated, using subtle cues to determine the perfect moment to strike. It was a dance between fire and iron, one that demanded precision and patience. Perhaps the most significant leap forward came with the development of alloying, the art of blending metals to create something stronger and more versatile. Bronze, a mixture of copper and tin, became the metal of choice for tools, weapons, and art. Its durability and ease of casting made it indispensable to early civilizations, from the Indus Valley to the Mediterranean. But creating bronze wasn't as simple as tossing two metals together. It required precise measurements and controlled temperatures, as well as access to the right raw materials. This led to an unexpected byproduct: cultural exchange. As societies traded tin and copper across vast distances, they also shared knowledge, spreading innovations that pushed metalworking to new heights. Temperature control was another critical factor in ancient metallurgy. Early furnaces were crude by modern standards, often little more than pits lined with clay. Yet, through trial and error, metalworkers learned to regulate heat by adjusting airflow and fuel. This mastery allowed them to achieve temperatures high enough to melt iron, a metal far more challenging to work with than copper or bronze. The ability to control heat also opened the door to techniques like quenching rapidly cooling hot metal in water or oil to harden it. While quenching could make metal stronger, it also risked making it brittle. Again, ancient artisans relied on experience and observation to strike the right balance. What's truly remarkable is how these techniques evolved not in isolation, but through a continuous process of innovation and adaptation. Each generation of metalworkers built on the knowledge of those who came before, refining methods and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. From the first copper tools to the intricate bronze statues of ancient Greece, the story of metalworking is one of persistence, creativity, and an unyielding drive to improve. And as we explore these ancient techniques, we're reminded that the roots of modern technology lie not in sterile labs, but in the fiery forges of the past where human hands first learned to shape the world. Fire, it's one of humanity's earliest and most transformative discoveries, a force that not only provided warmth and protection, but also unlocked the potential of the natural world. For ancient metalworkers, fire was more than a tool. It was the heartbeat of their craft, the key to turning raw earth into gleaming metal. The story of metalworking begins with the mastery of heat, a journey that started with the simplest of hearths and evolved into the roaring furnaces that powered entire civilizations. In the earliest days, metalworking was a process of trial and error. Early artisans would gather rocks rich in copper or other metals and place them in open fires, hoping the heat would release the metal trapped within. These primitive hearths were far from efficient, often reaching temperatures barely high enough to extract usable material. But through persistence and ingenuity, these early craftsmen began to refine their techniques. They discovered that by enclosing the fire in a pit or lining it with clay, they could trap heat and achieve higher temperatures. This was the birth of the furnace, a simple yet revolutionary innovation that marked the beginning of true metallurgy. As metalworking advanced, so did the tools used to control fire. One of the most significant breakthroughs was the invention of the bellows, a device that allowed craftsmen to force air into the furnace, increasing the intensity of the flames. Early bellows were made from animal skins or hollowed-out logs, but their impact was profound. By introducing a steady stream of oxygen, metalworkers could reach temperatures high enough to melt iron, a feat once thought impossible. This newfound control over heat opened the door to more complex alloys and techniques, paving the way for the Bronze and Iron Ages. Yet, mastering fire wasn't just about building better tools. It required a deep understanding of the materials being worked with. Ancient metalworkers learned to read the color and behavior of flames, using subtle cues to gauge the temperature of their furnaces. They knew that too much heat could ruin a batch of metal, while too little would leave it impure. It was a delicate balance, one that demanded both skill and intuition. And because they lacked the precise thermometers and gauges we have today, they relied on centuries of accumulated knowledge passed down through generations of craftsmen. The challenges of working with limited technology only heightened their creativity. Without the luxury of modern materials, ancient metalworkers used what was available to them. They built furnaces from clay and stone, fueled them with charcoal or wood, and shaped their tools with nothing more than hammers and anvils. Each step of the process required problem-solving and adaptability, qualities that defined the spirit of these early innovators. They didn't just work with fire, they tamed it, bending its power to their will. Fire's role in metalworking wasn't just practical, it was symbolic. In many ancient cultures, fire was seen as a gift from the gods, a sacred element that connected the human and divine. Metalworkers were often revered as magicians, their craft shrouded in mystery and ritual. The furnace became a place of transformation, where raw materials were reborn as tools, weapons, and art. This reverence for fire speaks to its profound impact on human history, not just as a tool but as a catalyst for progress. Today, we can still see echoes of this ancient relationship in modern metallurgy. The principles of heat control and furnace design developed thousands of years ago continue to underpin the technologies we use today. And while our tools have grown more advanced, the spirit of innovation remains the same. The story of fire and furnaces is a reminder that even the simplest discoveries can ignite a chain reaction of progress, shaping the world in ways we're still uncovering. It's a testament to the ingenuity of those early metalworkers, whose mastery of heat laid the foundation for everything that followed. The story of ancient metalworking isn't just about shaping raw metals, it's about transforming them into something entirely new. Through a process as much art as science, early artisans discovered that by combining different metals, they could create alloys with properties far superior to their individual components. This was the birth of materials like bronze, brass, and electrum, each a testament to the ingenuity of ancient craftsmen. But what drove these pioneers to experiment with mixing metals? And how did their discoveries change the course of history? Take bronze, for example. This alloy, made by blending copper with tin, was nothing short of revolutionary. Bronze was harder, more durable, and easier to cast than pure copper, making it ideal for everything from tools to weapons. Its creation marked the beginning of the Bronze Age, a period when societies across the globe began to flourish. In Mesopotamia, bronze plows turned tough soil into fertile fields, while in Egypt, bronze chisels carved the stones that built the pyramids. The demand for bronze didn't just drive technological progress, it sparked trade networks that connected distant civilizations. Copper and tin, often found in separate regions, became highly sought-after commodities, linking cultures and spreading ideas across continents. But bronze wasn't the only alloy to shape history. Brass, a mix of copper and zinc, offered its own unique advantages. Known for its bright golden hue and resistance to corrosion, brass became a favorite for decorative objects and coins. The Romans, in particular, mastered its production, using it to mint currency that circulated throughout their vast empire. This wasn't just about aesthetics. Brass coins were durable, easy to produce, and resistant to wear, making them an essential tool for trade and commerce. Then there's electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver. Prized for its striking pale gold color and malleability, electrum was used to craft some of the earliest coins in history. The ancient Lydians of modern-day Turkey were among the first to mint electrum coins, creating a standardized form of currency that revolutionized economies. Electrum's allure wasn't just economic, it also held cultural significance, often associated with the divine. Its shimmering surface was thought to capture the light of the gods, making it a favorite for sacred objects and royal regalia. Yet, not all ancient alloys are as well understood. Take Corinthian bronze, for instance. This legendary material was said to possess a unique, iridescent sheen, making it highly prized for statues and luxury items. But despite its fame, the exact composition of Corinthian bronze remains a mystery. Some accounts suggest it was made by blending copper with gold and silver, while others mention secret ingredients like traces of precious stones. The techniques used to create it were so closely guarded that they were lost to time, leaving modern researchers to speculate about its secrets. What's fascinating about these alloys isn't just their physical properties, it's how they reflect the societies that created them. The development of bronze, brass, and electrum wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a cultural one. These materials became symbols of power, wealth, and innovation, driving advancements in art, warfare, and trade. The ability to manipulate metals into new forms gave ancient civilizations an edge, allowing them to build, conquer, and thrive in ways that would have been impossible otherwise. Today, the legacy of these ancient alloys lives on. Modern metallurgy owes much to the discoveries of those early metalworkers, whose experiments laid the foundation for the materials we use every day. And as we continue to study their techniques, we're reminded of a simple truth. Sometimes the most extraordinary breakthroughs come not from a single material, but from the alchemy of combining them. It's a lesson in creativity and collaboration, one that still resonates in the modern world. As bronze reigned supreme across ancient civilizations, another metal was quietly waiting in the wings, one that would redefine the course of history. Iron, unlike bronze, which could be smelted at relatively low temperatures, iron demanded a fiery crucible and a mastery of heat that pushed the limits of ancient technology. The transition from bronze to iron wasn't just a shift in materials, It was a monumental leap that reshaped societies, warfare, and economies. But why was iron so revolutionary? And what made it so much harder to produce than its bronze counterpart? The key lies in the chemistry. Iron ore is stubborn, locked tightly in its rocky prison. To extract it, metalworkers needed temperatures nearing 1,500 degrees Celsius, far hotter than what was required for bronze. Achieving these temperatures wasn't just a matter of building bigger fires, it required ingenuity. Early ironworkers developed bloomeries, specialized furnaces that could trap and concentrate heat. These furnaces were often lined with clay and fueled by charcoal, with bellows pumping in air to stoke the flames. But even with these innovations, the process was grueling. Iron didn't melt like bronze. Instead, it formed a spongy mass called a bloom, which had to be hammered repeatedly to remove impurities and shape it into usable metal. It was labor-intensive, demanding both skill and endurance, yet the effort was worth it. Iron was stronger and more abundant than bronze, making it ideal for tools, weapons, and infrastructure. In the ancient Near East, iron plows transformed agriculture, allowing farmers to cultivate tougher soils and increase crop yields. In warfare, iron swords and armor gave armies a decisive edge, leading to the rise of powerful empires like the Hittites, who were among the first to master ironworking on a large scale. The spread of iron didn't just change the tools of daily life, it changed the balance of power, enabling societies to expand and conquer in ways that bronze never could. But the story of iron isn't one of uniform progress. While some regions, like the Mediterranean and the Near East, adopted ironworking relatively quickly, others took a different path. Sub-Saharan Africa, for example, developed its own advanced ironworking traditions independently. In places like the Nok culture of modern-day Nigeria, iron smelting emerged as early as 500 BCE, with techniques that were both innovative and distinct from those used elsewhere. African metalworkers often used tall, cylindrical furnaces that could reach incredibly high temperatures, producing high-quality iron without the need for bellows. This independent development challenges the notion that technological progress flows in a single, linear direction, reminding us that innovation can arise in many forms. The mystery of iron's spread also raises questions about why some civilizations embraced it more readily than others. In Europe, for instance, ironworking took centuries to fully replace bronze, partly because of the cultural and economic ties tied to bronze production. Meanwhile, in China, ironworking evolved alongside bronze, with artisans developing techniques like cast iron as early as 500 BCE. These regional differences highlight the complex interplay of technology, culture, and geography, showing how the adoption of new materials is never as simple as it seems. What makes iron so fascinating isn't just its strength or versatility, it's what it reveals about the societies that mastered it. The transition from bronze to iron wasn't just a technological shift, it was a cultural one. Iron became a symbol of power and progress, shaping the identities of empires and forging new connections between distant peoples. And as we uncover the secrets of ancient ironworking, we're reminded that the story of metal isn't just about tools or weapons. It's about the people who transformed raw earth into the foundations of civilization. Iron wasn't just a metal, it was a revolution, one that continues to shape our world today. To shape metal into works of art and utility, ancient craftsmen relied on an arsenal of tools that were as ingenious as they were essential. At the heart of every forge was the anvil, a sturdy block of iron or stone that served as the foundation for hammering and shaping metal. These early anvils were simple, often nothing more than flat surfaces, but they provided the stability needed to transform raw materials into functional objects. Over time, anvils evolved, with craftsmen adding features like rounded edges and holes for punching or bending metal. This evolution wasn't just about convenience, it was a testament to the growing sophistication of metalworking techniques. Alongside the anvil, the hammer was the metalworker's most trusted companion. Early hammers were made from stone or wood, but as metalworking advanced, so did the tools. Bronze and iron hammers offered greater durability and precision, allowing craftsmen to strike with more control. Different hammers were designed for specific tasks, some with flat heads for shaping, others with pointed tips for detailed work. Each hammer was a reflection of its purpose, tailored to the needs of the craft. But metalworking wasn't just about brute force. Precision tools like chisels and punches played a crucial role in creating intricate designs. Chisels, often made from bronze or iron, were used to carve patterns into metal surfaces, while punches allowed artisans to create holes or decorative indentations. These tools required not only skill but also a deep understanding of the material's properties. Too much pressure and the metal could crack, too little and the design would lack clarity. It was a delicate balance, one that demanded both artistry and technical expertise. Molds were another game changer in ancient metalworking. Made from stone, clay, or even sand, molds allowed craftsmen to cast complex shapes with remarkable consistency. Whether creating a bronze statue or a simple tool, molds streamlined the production process, enabling artisans to replicate designs with ease. Some molds were even reusable, a nod to the practicality and resourcefulness of ancient metalworkers. The use of molds also highlights the collaborative nature of the craft, with potters and metalworkers often working together to create the perfect form. Specialized tools like tongs and bellows further demonstrate the ingenuity of ancient metalworkers. Tongs, made from iron or bronze, allowed craftsmen to handle hot metals safely, while bellows provided the constant airflow needed to maintain high furnace temperatures. These tools weren't just functional, they were often beautifully crafted with handles and fittings that showcased the skill of their makers. What's truly remarkable is how these tools evolved over time. As metalworking techniques advanced, so did the tools, with each generation of craftsmen refining and improving upon the designs of their predecessors. This continuous innovation speaks to the resilience and creativity of ancient metalworkers, who turned simple tools into instruments of precision and artistry. The tools of ancient metalworking weren't just instruments of labor, they were extensions of the craftsmen themselves, shaped by their hands and honed by their experience. Through these tools, we catch a glimpse of the ingenuity and dedication that define the craft, a legacy that continues to inspire us today. Whether hammering a blade or carving a delicate pattern, these artisans remind us that even the simplest tools can become vessels of extraordinary creativity. In the hands of ancient artisans, metal wasn't just a material, it was a language. Every hammer strike, every molten pour, carried meaning far beyond the physical object being created. Metal artifacts were more than tools or weapons. They were expressions of identity, power, and belief. From the crowns of kings to the amulets of priests, these objects spoke to the deepest values of the societies that crafted them. They were symbols of authority, tokens of faith, and even gateways to the divine. Consider the Sutton Hoo treasure discovered in a burial mound in England. This Anglo-Saxon hoard, dating to the early 7th century, is a stunning testament to the cultural significance of metal. Among its treasures is an ornate helmet, its surface adorned with intricate patterns and fearsome imagery. This wasn't just a piece of armor, it was a statement of power designed to inspire awe and command respect. The helmet's craftsmanship reflects the skill of its maker, but its symbolism reveals the aspirations of its owner, a leader who sought to immortalize their legacy in metal. Metal's role in spirituality was equally profound. In ancient Greece, bronze statues of gods and goddesses stood as focal points of worship, their gleaming surfaces capturing the light of the sun and the reverence of their followers. These statues weren't mere representations. They were believed to house the presence of the divine, making them central to rituals and ceremonies. The act of creating such statues was itself a sacred process, with metalworkers often regarded as intermediaries between the mortal and the divine. Royal regalia also underscores the symbolic power of metal. Take, for example, the crowns and scepters of ancient Egypt. Made from gold and precious stones, these objects weren't just markers of status, they were embodiments of the pharaoh's divine right to rule. The use of gold, a metal that never tarnishes, carried profound meaning, symbolizing eternal power and immortality. Even in death, metal played a crucial role, with elaborate burial masks and coffins crafted to ensure the ruler's safe passage to the afterlife. The cultural significance of metal artifacts extended beyond the elite. Everyday objects like amulets and jewelry carried spiritual and protective meanings for ordinary people. In many ancient cultures, metal pendants were believed to ward off evil spirits or bring good fortune. These small but meaningful items highlight how deeply metalworking was intertwined with the human experience, touching every aspect of life from birth to death. What's striking is how these artifacts reflect the values of their creators. The intricate designs of a Celtic brooch or the precise geometry of an Islamic astrolabe reveal not just technical skill but also a worldview. Metalworking was a way to encode beliefs, aspirations, and identities into tangible form. It was a dialogue between the artisan and their culture, a conversation that continues to resonate through the ages. Today, these ancient artifacts remind us that metalworking was never just about utility. It was about connection to power, to the divine, and to each other. Through the objects they left behind, we glimpse the hopes and dreams of those who came before us, their stories etched in bronze, silver, and gold. And as we study these treasures, we're reminded that the true power of metal lies not in its strength, but in its ability to tell the story of who we are. Among the many marvels of ancient metalworking, few techniques capture the imagination like gilding, an art form that transformed ordinary objects into shimmering treasures. Gilding, the process of applying a thin layer of gold to surfaces, was more than just a decorative practice. It was a statement of wealth, power, and divine connection. From statues of gods to the ceilings of grand temples, gilded objects were designed to dazzle and inspire, reflecting light in ways that seemed almost otherworldly. But how did ancient artisans achieve this radiant effect? And what made gold, of all metals, the ultimate symbol of prestige and spirituality? The techniques behind gilding were as varied as they were ingenious. One of the most widely used methods was mercury gilding, a process that combined gold with mercury to create an amalgam. The mixture was carefully applied to the object's surface, often a statue or piece of jewelry, and then heated. As the mercury evaporated, it left behind a flawless layer of gold. The result was breathtaking, a surface that gleamed with the brilliance of solid gold but used far less of the precious metal. This technique allowed even modest objects to take on an air of opulence, making gilding accessible to a wider range of artisans and patrons. Yet for all its beauty, mercury gilding came at a cost. The process was notoriously dangerous, exposing craftsmen to toxic mercury fumes that could lead to severe health issues, even death. Despite these risks, the allure of gilded objects was so great that artisans continued to practice this method for centuries, their skill and sacrifice immortalized in the golden surfaces they created. Over time, however, the dangers of mercury gilding became impossible to ignore, leading to its eventual decline. By the 19th century, safer alternatives had emerged, but the legacy of this ancient technique endures in the masterpieces it produced. Gold itself held a special place in the hearts and minds of ancient cultures. Its rarity, durability, and luminous beauty made it a natural choice for objects of spiritual and political significance. In ancient Egypt, gold was associated with the sun god Ra, symbolizing eternal life and divine power. Pharaohs were often buried with gilded masks and coffins, ensuring their transformation into gods in the afterlife. Similarly, in ancient Rome, gilded statues of emperors stood as symbols of their authority, their golden surfaces reflecting the light of the empire itself. The use of gilding in architecture further highlights its cultural importance. Temples and palaces across the ancient world were adorned with gilded ceilings, columns, and reliefs, creating spaces that felt both sacred and awe-inspiring. The Parthenon in Athens, for example, was once crowned with a gilded statue of Athena, visible for miles and gleaming in the sunlight. These architectural marvels weren't just feats of engineering. They were expressions of a society's deepest values, their golden surfaces a testament to the connection between the earthly and the divine. So why did some gilding methods fade into obscurity? Beyond the dangers of mercury, changing tastes and resource constraints played a role. As societies evolved, so did their priorities, with some cultures favoring simpler, more restrained styles over the opulence of gilded surfaces. Additionally, the cost and labor involved in gilding made it impractical for widespread use, limiting its appeal to the elite. Yet, even as gilding techniques were abandoned or replaced, their impact on art and culture remained profound. Today, the art of gilding continues to captivate us, a reminder of humanity's enduring fascination with gold and the lengths we'll go to harness its beauty. Modern artisans still practice gilding, using safer methods to recreate the luminous surfaces of the past. And as we admire these golden treasures, we're reminded of the skill, creativity, and even sacrifice of those ancient craftsmen who first turned metal into light. Gilding isn't just a lost art, it's a window into the values and aspirations of the people who shaped our world, their legacy shining as brightly as the gold they once applied. The art of metalworking wasn't just a craft. It was a source of wonder so extraordinary that ancient cultures wove it into their myths and legends. These stories, filled with gods, giants, and master smiths, reveal how deeply metalworking resonated with the human imagination. It wasn't just about fire and metal, it was about transformation, creation, and the divine. Take Hephaestus, the Greek god of the forge. Unlike the other Olympians who ruled over lofty realms like the sky or the sea, Hephaestus worked with his hands, shaping the world from the heat of his furnace. Myths describe him crafting majestic weapons for heroes like Achilles' impenetrable armor and Zeus' thunderbolts. But his creations weren't just tools, they were works of art imbued with power and purpose. Hephaestus himself was both revered and pitied, a figure of immense skill yet cast out from Olympus due to his deformity. His story reflects the duality of metalworking, a blend of beauty and toil, creativity and hardship. In Norse mythology, the dwarves were the ultimate metalworkers, their forges hidden deep within the earth. These master craftsmen were said to create objects of unparalleled beauty and strength, like Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and Odin's spear, Gungnir. What's fascinating is how these myths portray the dwarves not just as skilled artisans, but as beings with almost supernatural abilities. They could craft weapons that never missed their mark, rings that granted immense power, and chains strong enough to bind even the mightiest of gods. The dwarves' skill was so extraordinary that it blurred the line between the natural and the magical, a testament to the awe ancient societies felt for metalworking. These myths weren't just entertaining tales, they were a way to explain the inexplicable. How could humans, with their limited tools and knowledge, create objects of such precision and beauty? The answer, it seemed, lay in divine inspiration or otherworldly intervention. In many cultures, master metalworkers were seen as touched by the gods, their skill a gift from the heavens. In Hindu mythology, for example, the divine architect Vishvakarma was said to craft celestial weapons and palaces for the gods. his work embodying the perfect union of art and function. Even in more grounded traditions, metalworkers were often shrouded in mystery. In ancient China, the art of bronze casting was so revered that it was considered a sacred act, with rituals performed to ensure the gods' favor. The craftsmen who created the famous bronzes of the Shang dynasty weren't just artisans, they were intermediaries between the human and the divine, their work a bridge between the earthly and the eternal. What ties these myths together is the idea that metalworking wasn't just a physical act, it was a spiritual one. The forge was a place of transformation where raw materials were reborn into something greater. This sense of awe and reverence extended to the metalworkers themselves, who are often seen as possessing almost magical skill. Their ability to shape the elements to turn earth into art was a reminder of humanity's potential to create and innovate. Today, these ancient myths still resonate, offering a glimpse into how our ancestors viewed the world around them. They remind us that metalworking wasn't just about tools or weapons. It was about storytelling, about connecting the practical to the profound. The next time you see a beautifully crafted piece of metal, think of Hephaestus at his forge or the dwarves in their mountain halls. These legends live on, not just in the objects they inspired, but in the enduring power of human creativity. Imagine a world where the secrets of metalworking traveled not through books or the internet, but through the hands of merchants, the footsteps of explorers, and the ambitions of conquerors. This was the reality of ancient trade networks, where the exchange of metals, techniques, and ideas transformed civilizations and shaped the course of history. From the bustling markets of Mesopotamia to the remote mines of Anatolia, trade was the lifeblood of innovation, connecting distant cultures in ways that still resonate today. One of the most pivotal regions in this global exchange was Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. Known for its abundant metal deposits, particularly copper and tin, Anatolia became a hub for ancient metalworkers. Its mines were so productive that they supplied materials to empires as far away as Egypt and Mesopotamia. But Anatolia wasn't just a source of raw materials, it was also a melting pot of ideas. As merchants traveled its trade routes, they didn't just carry metals, they brought knowledge. Techniques for smelting, forging, and alloying spread from one civilization to another, creating a shared foundation for metalworking traditions across the ancient world. Merchants played a crucial role in this exchange. These intrepid traders ventured across deserts, mountains, and seas, carrying not only goods but also the latest innovations in metalworking. A merchant from Anatolia might bring tin to Egypt, where it was combined with local copper to create bronze. In return, they might return home with new tools or techniques learned from Egyptian craftsmen. This two-way flow of knowledge was essential, enabling societies to build on each other's discoveries and push the boundaries of what was possible. Explorers and conquerors also shaped the spread of metalworking. The Phoenicians, renowned seafarers of the ancient world, established trade colonies across the Mediterranean, bringing their expertise in metalworking to distant shores. Similarly, the conquests of empires like the Assyrians and Persians brought diverse cultures under one rule, creating opportunities for the exchange of ideas. A Persian blacksmith might learn new forging techniques from a conquered Babylonian artisan, blending traditions to create something entirely new. These interactions weren't just about dominance, they were about adaptation and innovation. Trade didn't just spread techniques, it also spurred the development of new alloys and styles. The demand for specific metals, like tin for bronze or gold for jewelry, drove innovation in mining and refining. As different cultures came into contact, they experimented with blending metals, leading to the creation of unique alloys. For example, the combination of copper and zinc to make brass likely emerged from interactions between Middle Eastern and South Asian metalworkers. These new materials weren't just practical, they were cultural statements reflecting the tastes and priorities of the societies that created them. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of ancient trade is how it reveals the interconnectedness of metalworking cultures. A sword forged in Anatolia might end up in the hands of a Mesopotamian warrior, while a bronze statue crafted in Greece could find its way to a temple in Egypt. These objects weren't just tools or art, they were symbols of a shared human experience, a testament to the ways in which trade brought people together. Today, the legacy of these ancient trade networks lives on. The techniques and traditions they spread laid the groundwork for modern metallurgy, while the connections they forged remind us of the power of collaboration. Trade wasn't just about commerce, it was about connection, a bridge between cultures that continues to shape our world. And as we uncover the stories of these ancient exchanges, we're reminded that the roots of innovation are often found not in isolation, but in the vibrant, bustling crossroads of human interaction. Metal wasn't just a material for beauty and utility, it was a weapon. In the ancient world, the ability to craft stronger, sharper, and more durable tools often meant the difference between victory and defeat on the battlefield. From the bronze swords of Mesopotamia to the iron chariots of the Hittites, metalworking became the backbone of warfare, shaping the rise and fall of empires. But how exactly did these advancements tip the scales of power? And what role did the humble blacksmith play in turning raw metal into instruments of conquest? The story begins with bronze, the metal that first revolutionized warfare. In the hands of skilled craftsmen, bronze swords and spears became symbols of military might. These weapons were lighter and sharper than their stone or copper predecessors, giving armies a critical advantage in close combat. The Sumerians, one of the earliest civilizations to master bronze, wielded these weapons to dominate their neighbors, carving out vast territories in the Fertile Crescent. But bronze wasn't just about strength, it was about strategy. The ability to mass-produce weapons allowed societies to field larger, better-equipped armies, transforming warfare from small skirmishes into organized campaigns. Yet bronze had its limits. While it was ideal for swords and spears, it was less effective for armor, which needed to be both strong and flexible. This challenge led to the rise of iron, a metal that would redefine warfare entirely. Iron was harder and more abundant than bronze, making it perfect for everything from swords to chariot wheels. The Hittites, an ancient civilization in Anatolia, were among the first to harness iron's potential, using it to build formidable war chariots that could outmaneuver and overpower their enemies. These chariots, reinforced with iron fittings, became the tanks of the ancient world, dominating battlefields and securing the Hittites' place as a regional superpower. Blacksmiths were the unsung heroes of this military transformation. These skilled artisans worked tirelessly to arm their armies, often under immense pressure to produce weapons quickly and efficiently. In ancient Rome, for example, blacksmiths played a crucial role in equipping legions with the iconic gladius, a short, double-edged sword designed for close-quarters combat. The gladius wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of Roman discipline and precision. Its design honed through centuries of trial and error. Producing these swords in large quantities required not only technical skill but also logistical coordination, with blacksmiths working in tandem with miners, smelters, and armorers to keep the legions supplied. Mass-producing weapons was no small feat. Ancient societies faced numerous challenges, from securing reliable sources of raw materials to maintaining consistent quality. The Persian Empire, for instance, relied on a vast network of mines and workshops to arm its armies, but even they struggled to meet the demands of their expanding territories. Persian blacksmiths crafted the curved scimitar, a weapon prized for its slashing power, but producing enough of these blades to equip thousands of soldiers required careful planning and resource management. What's fascinating is how these advancements in metalworking didn't just change how wars were fought, they changed who could fight them. With the ability to produce weapons at scale, even smaller or less wealthy states could field formidable armies, leveling the playing field in unexpected ways. The rise of iron, in particular, democratized warfare, making it harder for any single power to maintain dominance. The impact of metalworking on warfare wasn't just about technology, it was about culture. Weapons like the Roman gladius or the Persian scimitar became symbols of identity, embodying the values and aspirations of the societies that wielded them. They were tools of conquest, yes, but also expressions of artistry and ingenuity. And as we study these ancient weapons, we're reminded that the story of metalworking isn't just about fire and metal, it's about the human drive to innovate, adapt, and overcome. From bronze swords to iron chariots, the evolution of ancient warfare is a testament to the power of metalworking. It's a story of how the forge shaped the battlefield, and how the battlefield in turn shaped history. And as we uncover the secrets of these ancient weapons, we're reminded that the echoes of their creation still resonate today in the tools, technologies, and tactics that define our world. As empires rose and fell, so too did the secrets of their metalworking masters. The decline of ancient metalworking techniques wasn't a single event but a slow unraveling, shaped by war, upheaval, and the relentless march of time. Entire civilizations crumbled, taking with them centuries of accumulated knowledge. The Hittites, once renowned for their ironworking, vanished from history, leaving behind only fragments of their craft. The same fate befell the artisans of the Indus Valley, whose bronze tools and ornaments were buried beneath the sands of time. But why did these secrets disappear, and what can their loss teach us about the fragility of human innovation? One of the most significant factors was the collapse of empires. When a powerful state fell, its workshops, forges, and libraries often fell with it. The Roman Empire, for example, was a hub of metallurgical knowledge, with blacksmiths producing everything from swords to aqueduct fittings. But as Rome declined, so did its infrastructure. Invading armies burned cities, and the once thriving trade networks that supplied raw materials broke down. Without the support of a centralized state, many metalworking techniques were simply forgotten, their practitioners scattered or absorbed into new cultures. The destruction of written knowledge also played a role. Ancient metalworkers often recorded their techniques on scrolls or tablets, but these documents were vulnerable to fire, decay, and deliberate destruction. The burning of the Library of Alexandria, for instance, is often cited as one of history's great losses. Its vast collection of texts on metallurgy and other sciences reduced to ashes. In other cases, knowledge was deliberately suppressed. Conquerors seeking to weaken their enemies targeted not just their armies but their craftsmen, destroying workshops and enslaving skilled artisans. Oral traditions, while invaluable, also proved fragile. Many ancient metalworking techniques were passed down through generations, taught from master to apprentice in secretive guilds. These guilds guarded their knowledge closely, sharing it only with trusted initiates. While this secrecy preserved techniques for a time, it also made them vulnerable. If a guild's members were killed or dispersed, their knowledge could vanish overnight. The legendary steel of Damascus, for example, was likely lost when the craftsmen who knew its secrets were displaced or died without passing on their methods. The shift to new technologies further accelerated the loss of ancient techniques. As societies moved from bronze to iron and later to steel, older methods were often abandoned in favor of more efficient processes. Why spend weeks crafting a bronze sword when an iron blade could be produced in days? This relentless push for progress left little room for preserving the old ways, even when they held unique advantages. Over time, the skills required to create certain alloys or forge specific patterns faded into obscurity. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Today, researchers are working tirelessly to rediscover these lost secrets, using a combination of archaeology, chemistry, and experimental techniques. Modern metallurgists analyze ancient artifacts, searching for clues in their composition and structure. Blacksmiths experiment with traditional methods, hoping to replicate the legendary qualities of materials like Damascus steel. These efforts are more than just academic, they're a testament to the enduring allure of ancient craftsmanship and the lessons it holds for the modern world. The decline of ancient metalworking techniques is a reminder of how fragile human knowledge can be. It's a story of loss, but also of resilience and rediscovery. As we uncover the secrets of the past, we're reminded that innovation isn't just about moving forward. It's about preserving what came before. The next time you hold a piece of metal, think of the countless hands that shaped it, the centuries of knowledge it represents, and the stories it still has to tell. In the quest to unlock the secrets of ancient metalworking, modern scientists and craftsmen have turned to cutting-edge technology, blending the old with the new in a fascinating dance of discovery. Using tools like X-ray analysis, 3D modeling, and even artificial intelligence, researchers are peeling back the layers of time to understand how ancient artisans achieved their remarkable feats. These efforts aren't just about recreating the past, they're about learning from it, uncovering lessons that could inspire the future of metallurgy and craftsmanship. One of the most powerful tools in this modern arsenal is X-ray fluorescence, or XRF. This non-invasive technique allows scientists to analyze the chemical composition of ancient artifacts without damaging them. By studying the trace elements in materials like Damascus steel or Roman bronze, researchers can piece together the exact recipes used by ancient metalworkers. For example, the unique blend of vanadium and tungsten found in Wootz steel, the precursor to Damascus, has been a key clue in understanding its legendary properties. These discoveries aren't just academic, they're helping modern blacksmiths recreate these ancient alloys with astonishing accuracy. Another breakthrough has been the use of 3D modeling to study the intricate designs of ancient tools and weapons. By scanning artifacts and recreating them digitally, researchers can examine every detail, from the angle of a blade's edge to the microscopic patterns in its crystalline structure. This approach has been particularly valuable in understanding the Antikythera mechanism, where 3D models have revealed the precise arrangement of its gears and the complexity of its astronomical calculations. These digital reconstructions aren't just replicas, they're windows into the minds of the artisans who first created them, offering insights into their skill and ingenuity. Yet, for all the advancements in technology, recreating ancient techniques isn't easy. Take the case of Damascus steel. While modern blacksmiths have successfully replicated its distinctive wavy patterns, achieving the same combination of strength and flexibility has proven far more challenging. Some researchers believe the secret lies in the specific cooling process used by ancient craftsmen, while others point to the unique composition of the raw materials. These experiments highlight just how sophisticated ancient metalworking was and how much we still have to learn. One of the most exciting developments has been the collaboration between scientists and traditional craftsmen. In Japan, for instance, swordsmiths are working alongside metallurgists to recreate the legendary katanas of the samurai. By combining ancient forging techniques with modern materials science, they've produced blades that rival their historical counterparts in both beauty and performance. These partnerships are a reminder that the best results often come from blending the old with the new, honoring tradition while embracing innovation. What's perhaps most striking about these modern efforts is what they reveal about the ancient world. The precision and creativity of ancient metalworkers were far ahead of their time, achieved without the benefit of modern tools or scientific knowledge. Their ability to experiment, adapt, and innovate is a testament to the power of human ingenuity, a power that continues to inspire us today. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of ancient metalworking, we're not just uncovering lost techniques, we're rediscovering a shared heritage. These experiments bridge the gap between past and present, connecting us to the artisans who shaped the world with fire and metal. And in that connection, we find not only a deeper understanding of history, but also a renewed sense of wonder at what humanity can achieve. The forge may have changed, but the spark of creativity remains the same. The legacy of ancient metalworking is far more than a footnote in history. It's a foundation that continues to shape our world in profound ways. The techniques pioneered by those early artisans, from casting to alloying, didn't just fade into the past, they evolved, forming the backbone of industries that define modern life. Think about the skyscrapers that scrape the skies or the cars that zip down highways. None of these would exist without the principles of metallurgy, first discovered thousands of years ago. The ancient art of casting, for example, has been refined into the precision methods used today to create everything from jet engine parts to intricate medical devices. And alloying, the process of blending metals to create stronger, more versatile materials, remains at the heart of innovations in aerospace, construction, and even renewable energy. The past isn't just a memory, it's a blueprint for the future. But the influence of ancient metalworking isn't confined to factories and labs. It lives on in the art and culture that surround us. Walk into any major museum, and you'll find ancient metal artifacts that tell stories of ingenuity and artistry. The delicate bronze statues of ancient Greece, the gleaming gold masks of Egyptian pharaohs, the intricate ironwork of medieval Europe. These pieces aren't just relics, they're testaments to the enduring power of human creativity. They remind us that metalworking was never just about function. It was about expression, about capturing the essence of a culture in something as solid and lasting as metal. What's equally remarkable is how these ancient techniques continue to inspire modern artists and craftsmen. Contemporary jewelers, sculptors, and blacksmiths often look to the past for inspiration, blending traditional methods with modern aesthetics to create works that bridge time. A bronze sculptor today might use the same lost wax casting technique perfected by ancient artisans, while a knife maker might draw on the patterns and principles of Damascus steel to craft blades that are both functional and beautiful. This connection between past and present isn't just about preserving tradition. It's about building on it, using the wisdom of the ancients to push the boundaries of what's possible. Beyond the tangible, the legacy of ancient metalworking offers lessons that resonate deeply in our modern world. The pioneers of this craft were more than skilled artisans. They were innovators, problem solvers, and risk takers. They didn't have the luxury of modern tools or scientific knowledge. They relied on observation, experimentation, and a deep respect for their materials. Their work reminds us that progress isn't just about having the latest technology. It's about curiosity, perseverance, and the willingness to learn from failure. It's a lesson that feels particularly relevant today as we face challenges that demand both creativity and resilience. Perhaps the most profound impact of ancient metalworking is how it connects us to our shared humanity. Every time we marvel at a centuries-old sword, a gilded statue, or a finely crafted piece of jewelry, we're reminded of the hands that shaped it, the minds that conceived it, and the cultures that cherished it. These objects are more than just metal, they're stories, etched in bronze, iron, and gold, that speak to the timeless drive to create, to innovate, and to leave a mark on the world. As we celebrate the enduring influence of these ancient innovators, we're reminded that their legacy isn't just in the objects they left behind, but in the way they inspire us to look forward. The forge may have changed, but the spark of creativity it ignited continues to burn brightly, lighting the way for generations to come. And as we carry that flame into the future, we honor not just the metalworkers of the past, but the timeless spirit of innovation that defines us all. Among the many wonders of ancient metalworking, some mysteries remain stubbornly unsolved, tantalizing historians and scientists with their secrets. These enigmas aren't just gaps in our knowledge, they're windows into the ingenuity of the past, offering glimpses of techniques and materials that defy modern understanding. Take orichalcum, for example. This legendary metal, said to have adorned the fabled city of Atlantis, has puzzled researchers for centuries. Ancient texts describe it as a precious, reddish gold alloy prized for its beauty and strength. But what was it made of? Theories abound, with some suggesting it was a form of brass or bronze, while others propose it contained rare elements like zinc or even traces of meteoritic iron. Despite decades of analysis, the true composition of orichalcum remains elusive, leaving us to wonder if its secrets vanished with Atlantis itself. Another enduring mystery lies in the heart of India, where the iron pillar of Delhi stands as a testament to ancient ingenuity. This massive column, over 1,600 years old, has baffled scientists with its near-impossible resistance to rust. Weighing more than 6 tons and standing over 7 meters tall, the pillar has withstood centuries of monsoons, pollution, and time without significant corrosion. How did ancient metalworkers achieve such a feat? Some researchers point to the pillar's high phosphorus content, which may have created a protective layer on its surface. Others suggest that the forging process itself, involving precise temperature control and hammering, played a key role. Yet, despite advanced studies, no one has been able to fully replicate the pillar's remarkable durability, leaving its true secret locked in the past. Then there's the case of the Viking Ulfbert swords, weapons so advanced that they seem to defy their time. These swords, dating to the 9th and 10th centuries, were forged from steel of exceptional purity, rivaling the quality of modern alloys. The metal, known as crucible steel, was incredibly rare in medieval Europe, leading to questions about how the Vikings obtained it. Some believe they traded with distant lands, possibly as far as the Middle East, while others speculate they developed their own advanced smelting techniques. Either way, the Ulfbert swords stand as a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the technological capabilities of ancient cultures. These mysteries captivate us not just because they're unsolved, but because they challenge our assumptions about the past. They remind us that ancient artisans were far more sophisticated than we often give them credit for, capable of feats that still elude modern science. The debates surrounding these enigmas aren't just academic, they're a testament to the enduring allure of discovery. Every new theory, every fresh analysis brings us closer to understanding the minds of those who came before us, their methods and their motivations. What makes these mysteries so compelling is the way they blur the lines between myth and science. They invite us to imagine a world where knowledge was passed down through whispers and hands, where the boundaries of what was possible were constantly being pushed. And as we grapple with these unanswered questions, we're reminded that the past is not a static record. It's a living, breathing puzzle, one that continues to inspire and challenge us. In the end, these unsolved mysteries are more than just historical curiosities. They're invitations to explore, to question, and to wonder. They remind us that the story of metalworking is far from complete, and that the secrets of the past still have much to teach us. As we continue to uncover these ancient truths, we're not just solving puzzles, we're reconnecting with the timeless spirit of innovation that drives us forward. And in that journey, the mysteries of the past become a bridge to the future, a reminder that the quest for knowledge is never truly finished. Metalworking wasn't just a universal skill, it was a reflection of the diverse cultures that shaped it. Across the ancient world, from the rivers of China to the mountains of the Andes, civilizations developed their own unique approaches to working with metal, each influenced by their environment, resources, and traditions. These distinct practices reveal not only the ingenuity of ancient artisans, but also how deeply intertwined metalworking was with the identity of a culture. In ancient China, metalworking reached extraordinary heights, particularly during the Shang and Zhou dynasties. The Chinese mastery of bronze casting was unparalleled, producing intricate ritual vessels, weapons, and even massive bells. One of the most iconic examples is the set of bronze bells from the tomb of Ma Qiyi of Zheng, dating back to the 5th century BCE. These bells were not only musical instruments but also feats of engineering, designed to produce distinct tones when struck. The precision required to cast such bells, balancing size, shape, and thickness, speaks to a level of craftsmanship that was centuries ahead of its time. Geography played a key role here. China's abundant deposits of copper and tin made bronze the material of choice, while its cultural emphasis on harmony and rituals shaped the artistry of its metalwork. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, the Moche civilization of ancient Peru was crafting some of the most stunning goldwork in history. Unlike the Chinese, who favored bronze, the Moche had access to rich gold and silver deposits in the Andes. Their metalworking was a blend of artistry and symbolism, with objects often depicting gods, animals, and scenes from daily life. One of their most famous creations is the gold funerary mask of the Lord of Sipon, a masterpiece of hammered gold adorned with turquoise and shells. The Moche's techniques, such as gilding and soldering, were remarkably advanced, allowing them to create pieces that were both beautiful and durable. For the Moche, metalworking wasn't just a craft, it was a way to connect with the divine, transforming precious metals into sacred objects. In Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, metalworking was driven by necessity and ambition. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers provided fertile land but few natural resources, forcing Mesopotamians to trade for metals like copper and tin. This led to the development of bronze, which became the backbone of their society. Mesopotamian artisans were among the first to create standardized tools and weapons, enabling large-scale production and military expansion. Their innovations didn't stop there. They also developed early forms of jewelry and decorative metalwork, often using techniques like granulation, a process of attaching tiny metal beads to a surface to create intricate design. These achievements were not just practical, they were statements of power and prestige, reflecting the wealth and sophistication of Mesopotamian city-states. The Incas, on the other hand, approached metalworking with a focus on utility and spirituality. Living in the rugged Andes, they had access to vast reserves of gold, silver, and copper. Unlike the Moche, who used these metals for ornate objects, the Incas often incorporated them into everyday items like agricultural tools and architectural fittings. Their most famous metalwork, however, was reserved for temples and royal palaces, where gold and silver were used to create dazzling mosaics and statues. The Incas' ability to work with such precision in a challenging environment, high altitudes, limited oxygen, shows not only their technical skill but also their adaptability. For the Incas, metalworking was about more than beauty. It was a way to honor their gods and rulers, blending practicality with profound reverence. What's striking about these diverse traditions is how they reflect the unique challenges and priorities of each culture. The Chinese, with their emphasis on harmony and ritual, turned bronze into a medium for musical and spiritual expression. The Moche, surrounded by gold, transformed it into sacred art. The Mesopotamians, driven by trade and ambition, used metal to build empires, and the Incas, living in one of the most demanding environments on Earth, used metal to connect the practical with the divine. These ancient metalworking traditions remind us that innovation isn't born in isolation, it's shaped by the world around us. The next time you see a piece of metal, whether it's a modern tool or an ancient artifact, think about the hands that shaped it and the culture that inspired it. Each hammer strike, each molten pour carries a story of creativity, resilience, and the timeless human drive to shape the world around us. While the forges and workshops of ancient metalworking are often imagined as male-dominated spaces, history reveals a more nuanced picture. Women played a vital, if often overlooked, role in shaping this craft, contributing their skills, creativity, and leadership to the world of metal. From the delicate goldwork of Etruscan artisans to the regal commissions of Nubian queens, women were not just bystanders in this story, they were innovators, patrons, and masters of their craft. Archaeological discoveries have begun to uncover the traces of these remarkable women. In Etruria, modern-day Italy, the tombs of female artisans have yielded tools and unfinished pieces of jewelry, suggesting that they were not merely consumers of luxury goods but active participants in their creation. The Etruscans, known for their exquisite goldwork, left behind necklaces, earrings, and brooches that required a level of precision and artistry few could master. The presence of these tools in women's graves challenges the assumption that metalworking was exclusively a male domain, offering a glimpse into a world where women were both creators and custodians of beauty. Further south, in the kingdom of Kush, modern Sudan, Nubian queens like Amenarnas and Amenishakito wielded immense power, using metalwork as a symbol of their authority. These queens commissioned elaborate jewelry, ceremonial objects, and even weapons, often adorned with intricate designs that reflected their cultural identity. The famous treasure of Queen Amenishakito, discovered in her pyramid, included gold rings, bracelets, and amulets, each piece a testament to the skill of the artisans who crafted them. While we don't know the names of these craftsmen and craftswomen, their work speaks volumes about the collaborative nature of metalworking, where gender was no barrier to excellence. Gender roles, of course, shaped how women participated in metalworking. In many societies, women were more likely to engage in smaller-scale, decorative work, such as jewelry making or textile embellishment. These crafts were often seen as extensions of domestic labor, blending practicality with artistry. Yet, even within these constraints, women found ways to innovate. In ancient Greece, for example, women were known to work with gold and silver, creating intricate pieces that were both functional and symbolic. Similarly, in the Indus Valley, archaeological evidence suggests that women played a significant role in the production of beads and other ornaments, using techniques that required both technical skill and creative vision. But women's contributions weren't limited to the workshop. As patrons and leaders, they also shaped the direction of metalworking, commissioning pieces that reflected their values and aspirations. The Nubian queens, for instance, used metalwork to assert their political and spiritual authority, adorning themselves and their temples with objects that conveyed power and piety. In doing so, they elevated the craft, turning it into a medium for cultural expression and identity. What's striking about these stories is how they challenge our assumptions about ancient societies. They remind us that history is rarely as simple as it seems, and that the contributions of women, though often hidden, were no less significant. These artisans and leaders didn't just shape metal. They shaped the world around them, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. As we uncover these hidden figures, we're reminded that the story of metalworking is not just about tools or techniques, it's about the people who wielded them. Women, like their male counterparts, were part of this rich tapestry, their hands shaping the past and their stories waiting to be told. And as we celebrate their contributions, we honor not just their craft, but the resilience and creativity that define us all. The stars have always been a source of wonder, guiding explorers, inspiring myths, and shaping the rhythms of life on Earth. But for ancient metalworkers, the heavens were more than just a distant marvel. They were a source of inspiration, a canvas for their craft, and even a roadmap to the divine. The connection between metalworking and astronomy is one of the most fascinating intersections of science, art, and spirituality in the ancient world, and nowhere is this more evident than in the Nebra sky disk. Discovered in Germany and dating back to around 1600 BCE, the Nebra sky disk is one of the oldest known representations of the cosmos. Made of bronze and inlaid with gold, this extraordinary artifact depicts the sun, moon, and stars, along with what appears to be a solar barge, a mythical vessel believed to carry the sun across the sky. The disk isn't just a beautiful object, it's a sophisticated astronomical tool, possibly used to track the solstices and equinoxes. What's remarkable is how it combines the practical and the symbolic, blending precise celestial observations with a deep spiritual connection to the heavens. The creation of the Nebra sky disk speaks volumes about the skill of its makers. Crafting such a detailed and accurate representation of the night sky required not only an understanding of astronomy but also mastery of metalworking techniques. The artisans who made it had to delicately inlay gold into bronze, a process that demanded precision and patience. This wasn't just a technical achievement, it was an act of storytelling, a way to capture the mysteries of the universe in metal. But the Nebra sky disk is just one example of how ancient metalworkers used their craft to explore the cosmos. Across cultures, metal was often used to create instruments for studying the stars. In ancient Greece, for instance, bronze astrolabes were used to measure the positions of celestial bodies, while in China, bronze armillary spheres modeled the movements of the heavens. These tools weren't just scientific instruments, they were works of art, their intricate designs reflecting the beauty and order of the universe. Metals also held symbolic significance in representing celestial bodies. Gold, with its radiant, untarnished surface, was often associated with the sun, a symbol of power and divinity. Silver, on the other hand, was linked to the moon, its cooler, reflective surface evoking mystery and femininity. In many cultures, these metals were used to create objects that honored the gods or marked important astronomical events, like the solstices or eclipses. A bronze pendant shaped like a crescent moon or a golden amulet depicting the sun wasn't just jewelry, it was a connection to the cosmos, a way to carry a piece of the heavens with you. The intersection of metalworking and astronomy reveals how deeply intertwined science, art, and spirituality were in the ancient world. For these artisans, studying the stars wasn't just about understanding the physical universe, it was about finding meaning, order, and beauty in the vastness of the sky. Their creations remind us that the pursuit of knowledge is as much about wonder as it is about discovery, and that the tools we use to explore the cosmos can also be expressions of our deepest beliefs and aspirations. As we marvel at artifacts like the Nebra sky disk, we're reminded that the story of metalworking isn't confined to the forge or the workshop. It's written in the stars, in the tools and symbols that connect us to the mysteries of the universe. And in that connection, we find not just the brilliance of ancient artisans, but the timeless human desire to reach for the heavens and make sense of the world around us. The story of ancient metalworking isn't just one of innovation and artistry, it's also a story of environmental impact. The forges and furnaces of the past didn't just shape metal, they reshaped the world around them, often in ways that left lasting scars. From the dense forests that fueled their fires to the rivers that carried away their waste, ancient metalworkers were deeply connected to the natural world, and their practices had consequences that still echo today. One of the most significant environmental challenges of ancient metalworking was deforestation. Early furnaces required vast amounts of fuel, often in the form of charcoal made from wood. In places like Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley, entire forests were cleared to feed the insatiable demand for fuel. This deforestation didn't just strip the land of trees, it disrupted ecosystems, leading to soil erosion and changes in local climate. Over time, some regions found themselves struggling to find enough wood to sustain their metalworking industries, forcing them to innovate or adapt. But deforestation was only part of the problem. Ancient smelting processes also produced significant pollution. The burning of ores released toxic fumes, including sulfur dioxide and heavy metals like lead and arsenic, into the air. These pollutants didn't just vanish, they settled into the soil and water, contaminating the environment and posing risks to both human health and wildlife. In some cases, the effects were so severe that entire communities were forced to abandon their homes, leaving behind landscapes scarred by centuries of mining and smelting. Despite these challenges, ancient societies often found ways to manage their resources and waste. In China, for example, metalworkers developed efficient furnaces that required less fuel, while also recycling scrap metal to reduce the need for new materials. In the Roman Empire, laws were enacted to regulate mining and protect water sources, reflecting an early awareness of the need for sustainable practices. These efforts weren't always perfect, but they show a remarkable level of foresight and ingenuity in addressing environmental concerns. The long-term effects of ancient metalworking can still be seen in many parts of the world. In areas like the Rio Tinto in Spain, where mining has taken place for thousands of years, the landscape is marked by deep pits and acidic rivers, a testament to the enduring impact of human activity. Yet, these sites also offer valuable lessons for modern industries. They remind us that resource extraction, while essential, comes at a cost, and that balancing progress with sustainability is a challenge as old as civilization itself. What can we learn from these ancient practices? For one, they highlight the importance of innovation in reducing environmental impact. Just as ancient metalworkers developed new techniques to conserve fuel and recycle materials, modern industries can embrace technologies that minimize waste and pollution. They also underscore the need for careful regulation and oversight, ensuring that the pursuit of resources doesn't come at the expense of the planet. The environmental legacy of ancient metalworking is a reminder that our actions have consequences, both immediate and long-term. But it's also a story of resilience and adaptability, showing how even in the face of great challenges, humanity has found ways to innovate and persevere. As we grapple with today's environmental issues, the lessons of the past offer a blueprint for a more sustainable future, one where progress and preservation go hand in hand. The quest to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary wasn't just a practical pursuit for ancient metalworkers, it was a spiritual one. Enter alchemy, the mystical art that blurred the lines between science, philosophy, and magic. At its core, alchemy was driven by two audacious goals: turning base metals like lead into gold and discovering the elixir of immortality. While these ambitions might sound like the stuff of legend, they were rooted in a profound belief that the natural world held secrets waiting to be unlocked. And at the heart of this pursuit was metalworking, a craft that alchemists saw as a gateway to understanding the mysteries of existence. Alchemy wasn't just about manipulating metals, it was a deeply symbolic practice. Alchemists believed that metals, like all matter, were alive and capable of transformation. They saw gold not just as a precious metal but as the pinnacle of perfection, a symbol of purity and enlightenment. This spiritual connection to metalworking is evident in the cryptic texts and intricate symbols left behind by alchemists. Their diagrams often depicted the transformation of base metals into gold as a metaphor for the soul's journey towards spiritual perfection. In this way, the forge became a sacred space where physical and metaphysical worlds converged. But alchemy wasn't all mysticism. At its heart, it was an experimental science driven by curiosity and a relentless desire to uncover the hidden properties of materials. Alchemists were among the first to systematically study the reactions between metals and other substances, laying the groundwork for modern chemistry. Their experiments with distillation, crystallization, and alloying were not just attempts to create gold, they were steps toward understanding the fundamental nature of matter. In many ways, the alchemist's laboratory was an extension of the metalworker's forge, a place where trial and error led to unexpected discoveries. One of the most famous alchemical pursuits was the search for the philosopher's stone, a mythical substance said to hold the power to transmute metals and grant eternal life. While the stone itself remains elusive, the quest for it led to significant advancements in metallurgy. Alchemists developed new techniques for refining and purifying metals, experimented with alloys, and even discovered new elements. Their work paved the way for the scientific revolution, bridging the gap between ancient craftsmanship and modern chemistry. The influence of alchemy on metalworking is perhaps best seen in the works of figures like Paracelsus, a Renaissance alchemist who combined practical knowledge with philosophical inquiry. Paracelsus believed that metals were integral to both medicine and spiritual transformation, using his understanding of metallurgy to develop new treatments and explore the connections between the physical and spiritual realms. His approach reflects the dual nature of alchemy, a discipline that was as much about understanding the cosmos as it was about mastering the forge. Yet, for all its contributions, alchemy was often misunderstood. Its mystical language and secretive practices made it easy to dismiss as mere superstition. But to the alchemists, the pursuit of gold and immortality was never just about material gain. It was a journey of discovery, a way to explore the boundaries of human knowledge and creativity. In this sense, alchemy and metalworking were kindred spirits, both driven by the belief that the world held infinite potential for transformation. The legacy of alchemy lives on, not just in the annals of history, but in the very foundations of modern science. Its emphasis on experimentation and observation laid the groundwork for the scientific method, while its spiritual dimension reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is as much about wonder as it is about understanding. The next time you marvel at a piece of metal, whether it's a simple tool or a gleaming ornament, remember the alchemists who saw in it the promise of something greater, a reminder that even the most ordinary materials can hold extraordinary secrets. What if the secrets of ancient metalworking still hold the key to groundbreaking innovations in our modern world? As we look to the future, the study of these ancient techniques isn't just about uncovering the past, it's about unlocking new possibilities for the future. With advancements in technology and a growing appreciation for the ingenuity of our ancestors, we stand on the brink of rediscovering lost knowledge that could revolutionize everything from materials science to engineering. Imagine the potential of combining ancient wisdom with cutting-edge tools. Techniques like X-ray fluorescence and 3D scanning are already helping researchers decode the composition of artifacts like Damascus steel and the Iron Pillar of Delhi. But what if we could go further? Artificial intelligence, for instance, could analyze vast amounts of data from ancient texts, artifacts, and experimental recreations, identifying patterns and insights that human researchers might miss. These technologies could help us not only replicate ancient techniques, but also refine and adapt them for modern applications. The implications for materials science are particularly exciting. Ancient alloys like Wootz steel and Corinthian bronze possess properties that still baffle modern metallurgists. By understanding how these materials were crafted, we could develop new alloys with unprecedented strength, flexibility, or resistance to corrosion. Think about the possibilities: lighter, stronger materials for aerospace engineering, more durable infrastructure, or even medical implants that integrate seamlessly with the human body. The past could hold the blueprint for the next generation of materials, But the future of ancient metalworking isn't just about technology, it's also about collaboration. Scientists, historians, and craftsmen are increasingly working together to bridge the gap between ancient techniques and modern innovation. In Japan, for example, traditional swordsmiths are partnering with metallurgists to recreate the legendary katanas of the samurai, blending ancient forging methods with modern materials science. These partnerships aren't just producing remarkable results, they're fostering a deeper appreciation for the skill and creativity of ancient artisans. Preservation plays a crucial role in this journey. Every artifact we study is a piece of the puzzle, offering clues about the techniques and materials used by ancient metalworkers. Yet many of these treasures are at risk, threatened by looting, environmental damage, or simply the passage of time. Protecting and studying these artifacts isn't just an academic pursuit, it's a responsibility. By safeguarding the past, we ensure that future generations can continue to learn from it. Perhaps the most profound impact of rediscovering ancient metalworking lies in its ability to inspire. The ingenuity of ancient artisans reminds us that innovation isn't confined to the modern era. Their ability to achieve extraordinary results with limited tools and knowledge challenges us to think creatively and push the boundaries of what's possible. As we uncover their secrets, we're not just solving historical mysteries, we're reigniting the spark of curiosity and creativity that drives human progress. The future of ancient metalworking is a story that's still being written. With every discovery, we come closer to understanding the brilliance of those who came before us, and in doing so, we open new doors to innovation and discovery. The forge of the past may have cooled, but its lessons continue to burn brightly, lighting the way for the future. And as we carry that flame forward, we honor not just the artisans of old, but the timeless spirit of exploration and ingenuity that defines us all. As our exploration of the lost secrets of ancient metalworking pioneers comes to an end, what stands out most is the sheer brilliance of those early artisans. Their ability to shape metal with such precision and artistry, often without the tools or knowledge we take for granted today, is nothing short of extraordinary. From the shimmering blades of Damascus steel to the celestial precision of the Antikythera mechanism, these ancient innovations remind us that human ingenuity knows no bounds. What's truly remarkable is how these discoveries continue to resonate with us. They're not just relics of the past, they're sparks of inspiration, challenging us to rethink what's possible. The techniques and materials these pioneers mastered still baffle modern scientists, urging us to dig deeper into the mysteries they left behind. Who knows what other secrets are hidden in the artifacts and texts of ancient civilizations waiting for us to uncover? But this journey isn't just about marveling at the past, it's about what we can learn from it. These ancient craftsmen didn't just work with metal, they transformed it into something greater, weaving their values, beliefs, and dreams into every piece they created. Their legacy is a testament to the power of creativity, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. It's a reminder that the roots of modern innovation lie not in sterile labs, but in the fiery forges of the past. As we close this chapter, we're left with a sense of wonder and a few questions. What other ancient techniques have yet to be rediscovered? How can we apply these lessons to the challenges we face today? The answers may not come easily, but the search itself is part of the adventure. Before we go, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Which ancient metalworking marvel fascinates you the most? Do you think we'll ever fully unlock the secrets of Damascus steel or the Antikythera mechanism? Let us know in the comments below. Your insights might just spark the next big discovery. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exploration into the fascinating world of the past. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lost secrets of ancient metalworking. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep seeking answers, and keep uncovering the incredible stories that shaped our world. The past is full of surprises. Let's keep exploring them together.